Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we are about to play Outlive. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. I recommend you have the game in front of you so you can pause the video as needed to follow along. For your convenience, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Outlive is a nuclear apocalypse-themed game set in the future, the year 2079. Global conflict over the world's supply of clean drinking water has wiped out the nations and killed most of the population. An estimated 30,000 people are left, which are now divided into 4 tribes. Each tribe has taken shelter in underground bunkers and must survive long enough to join with the convoy. The convoy is a group in search of survivors worthy of coming back to live in their secret subaquatic colonies. Players control one of these 4 tribes and have only 6 days before the convoy arrives. Without the convoy, the tribes won't last more than a week. Only one tribe will join them though, the one who proves their worth by repairing their damaged shelter, gathering food for their survivors, avoiding radiation poisoning, overcoming deadly events, and salvaging and repairing equipment. All of these thematic elements in the game will earn you survival points, which will end up determining the winner at the end of the game. Their tribe will get to escape to the convoy's colonies and ensure their survival for future generations. Only one tribe will outlive the others. Let's begin with setting everything up. Put the large game board in the center of the table. Place the smaller convoy board out near it. Shuffle the event cards and place 6 face down on each space on this board. Place the algae token in the military base on the main board. Shuffle the wild game tiles together and form 3 equal stacks. 6 tiles in each in a 2-player game, 8 for a 3-player game, and 10 for a 4-player game. The extra tiles won't be used and can return to the box. Place a stack in the fairgrounds, the forest, and the mine. The topmost tile should always be face up. Separate the city search tiles into the 2 different city stacks, as named on the backs. Shuffle each separately and place the stacks to the side of the game board, Blackwood on the left and Silent Peak on the right. Create supply piles near the board for all the different resources and tokens in the game. You'll have survivor tokens, wood, metal, meat, water, microchips, canned goods, and munitions. The meat, water, and canned goods are known as supplies. The wood, metal, and microchips are known as materials. You may want to keep them together to remember, since each term has a specific and different use in the game. Each player should choose a color to be from the 4 available. Take the shelter board for the color chosen, as shown in the upper right corner of these boards. They are functionally identical. Take all 4 meeples and cube in your chosen color. On the shelter board, place your radioactivity tracer cube on the 0 space of your radioactivity gauge. Give each player one of each of the 3 standard rooms. Place them on the left 3 spaces of your shelter on the unbuilt sides, indicated with the yellow dotted border. Shuffle the leader cards and deal 2 to each player. Shuffle up the advanced room tiles or use an opaque bag and let each player draw 6. Everyone should choose 4 of these to keep and discard the remaining 2. You should read what each does, as they have various abilities. Know that you only gain the room's ability when it's fully occupied with survivors. Place the 4 advanced rooms you chose in the center of your shelter with their unbuilt side face up. Now from the 7 on your board, you may choose any one room to build for free and flip it face up. Take 4 survivor tokens and fully fill up the built room. Any extra survivors should go to the airlock's top row. From the 2 leader cards you were dealt, choose one to be and discard the other. The leader card will determine what resources and equipment you'll start with, where your meeples will start on the board, and your player order. The player with the oldest leader will take the first player token. Take all the pictured resources from the supply piles and place them on your shelter board.
There are special storage areas on the shelter boards for each kind of resource.
The equipment shown on the leader card will be found in the pool of equipment tiles. Take it and put the tile on the left of your player board, indicating it is broken and will need to be repaired. Repaired equipment will be put on the right side of your shelter. Once everyone's taken their starting equipment tile, shuffle all the remaining equipment tiles into a face-down stack near the board. Now players will put their meeples on the main board in the starting 4 areas shown by their leader cards. First, you'll want to orient your leader card to match the main board's orientation. Players can put them out simultaneously, or for a more strategic start, have players put one meeple at a time on the board in turn order. Each meeple has a number on it indicating its strength. Their strength determines how many actions they can take on their turn. Everyone's meeples should be placed on the board laying down, indicating they are inactive. Also know that each meeple must move to a new area on their turn, going clockwise or counterclockwise up to 2 spots, and you may not have 2 of your meeples on the same area. I say this now for your consideration of which meeples to put where from your starting 4 areas. At this point, you're ready to start the first day. Outlive lasts 6 days, or rounds. There are 3 phases in each day: dawn, day, and night. During each dawn, the resources on the main board are replenished. Using tokens from the supply, you'll replenish each location back to their amount indicated. Only add what you have to in order to meet the shown total, which is based on player count. You'll see on the board little charts by the resource locations to help you know how many tokens of that resource should go there during this phase.
For this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating a 2-player game. So in the mine, place 6 metal tokens there. At the fair, put out 6 microchips.
In the forest, put 6 wood tokens. At the dam, put 7 water tokens. In the military base, place 6 munitions tokens. Additionally, put the algae token here on the active side.
At the cargo ship, make sure each survivor spot has a survivor token on it. These tokens are double-sided, male and female. It doesn't matter which side is face up.
Now you'll prepare the city search tiles. For each city, take their 10 search tiles and shuffle them. Then create a stack at the city with a number of tiles dependent on player count. For a 2-player game, put 6 face down here. For a 3-player game, 8. And all 10 tiles will sit in the stack on the board in a 4-player game. From the unused tiles, lay them face up near the stack so everyone can see which tiles are unavailable this round. Each day, all tiles are reshuffled and made into a new stack like this. Now you'll prepare the salvageable equipment for each city. On the left for Blackwood, discard any equipment tiles not taken from the previous round and draw 3 new ones from the equipment tile stack. Do the same for Silent Peak at the right side of the board.
If there are not enough equipment tiles in the stack to refill the 3 for either city, you should shuffle the discarded equipment tiles to a new deck and keep drawing.
Once you've completed replenishing the board from the dawn phase, you'll move on to the day phase. During the day is when heroes from the tribes venture from their shelter and scour the wastelands for resources. This is where each meeple gets to move on the map to new locations and take actions according to their strength. The first step of the day is to reveal the day's event card on the convoy board. Apply its effect shown in the middle of the card. Should any event card from a previous day still be on the convoy board, also apply its effects as well. All the events are cumulative until a player spends the required resources shown at the bottom to overcome it during the night phase. If you ever have questions on how to resolve an event, check the appendix in the rulebook. Each event card is listed with full descriptions and clarifications. Now players will take turns clockwise from the start player, choosing one of their idle heroes to stand up and move to a new location and resolve actions there. Idle heroes are the ones lying down and can be chosen to activate. The hero can move up to 2 locations following the green arrows on the board, going either clockwise or counterclockwise from their starting location. The hero must move if it can, and must end its turn on a different location than it started. No player may have more than one of their color heroes on the same space, whether active or idle. The heroes can move through locations occupied by the same color, but just can't stop there. Your hero can stop its movement where there are heroes of other players' colors, though. Players must move one of their idle heroes on their turn until they've all been activated, but if a valid move is not possible, the hero stands up where it is and does nothing this turn. Knowing this, you should plan ahead so you don't run out of good movement options for each of your meeples. When moving to the new location, place the hero meeple there, standing upright to show it's activated, and moved this round. Immediately look to see if any other player's heroes are activated there already. If none, you can proceed to resolve the location actions as you wish using the hero's strength points.
But if there's at least one other activated hero in the location, your hero attempts to apply pressure to any activated heroes with a lower strength. Applying pressure is basically trying to bully the weaker hero into giving up resources. Applying pressure isn't an action, it just happens once you move.
The amount of pressure is the difference between the hero's strength values. So a hero with 5 strength will apply 2 points of pressure on a hero with 3 strength. The threatened hero or heroes should give them 1 supply or material resource of the defender's choice equal to the pressure points. If they have no supplies or materials, nothing happens. All vulnerable heroes who are active will be pressured this way. The threatened heroes do have one way to fight back: by spending munitions. For each munition token discarded, they prevent 1 point of pressure, thereby saving supplies and materials. The aggressor can never spend munitions to increase their strength against pressured heroes. Remember that pressure is only applied to heroes standing up in that location when your hero moves there. Ignore the idle ones laying down.
Pressure does not happen when a lower strength hero moves to a location with a stronger hero standing there.
They are not intimidated when they are the ones arriving to the location, probably because they scout the area when they arrive and see who's there. After all intimidation is resolved, the hero who moved may start spending their strength to do actions in that area. After all intimidation is resolved, the hero who moved may start spending their strength to do actions at this area. I'll explain each location and their actions in a bit. Once the actions are completed, the player on their left takes a turn doing the same, activating and moving a hero and taking actions. Once all 4 heroes from each player has gone, the day has ended and all heroes lay down on the board, returning to an idle state. Slide heroes at the cargo ship off the hero spots. Now you'll proceed to the night phase. During the night, players will have a chance to interact with their shelter and inhabitants, following the 7 steps shown on the shelter board. Each step is shown on the right of the shelters and must be followed from top to bottom. All players resolve each step before moving to the next step. In turn order, each player will have a chance to overcome any event in play on the convoy board. You may overcome one event at a time, letting others have a chance before doing another one. Any player may overcome an event by paying the resources shown on the bottom of its card. They must pay it fully from their own resources, without help from anyone else. Then they should remove the event card and keep it near them for the end of the game. Each card is worth a number of survival points, as shown in the upper left corner. There is no limit to the number of events a player can collect through the game. Once an event card is removed from the board, it no longer impacts gameplay. The remaining steps in Night Phase can be done simultaneously. After everyone has passed from overcoming events, players must all feed the survivors in their shelter. The cost of feeding them is determined by where they are housed within your shelter. This area is known as the airlock. Pay 1 water for each row in the airlock that has survivors. As long as there is 1 survivor in the row, the cost of the row must be paid. Survivors aren't placed in the second row until the first row is full. Survivors that are located in a room in your shelter must be fed by paying the supplies cost shown in the upper right. Look for the large white number.
As long as at least 1 survivor is in the room, the full cost of the room must be paid. You may pay any combination of the 3 supplies: water, canned goods, and meat. If you have the supplies, you must spend them. You can't choose not to feed anyone. For every supply you cannot pay, one of your survivors leaves the shelter. Return any one of your survivor tokens to the general supply.
Next, every player must adjust their radioactivity taken on that day. The convoy board will show the intensity of radiation around your shelter for each day.
The numbers shown in the airlock on your shelter are also a reminder of the radiation values for each of the 6 days. For each point of radiation, move your radioactivity tracer upwards once. The negative or positive numbers shown on this track will be survival points at the end of the game, so having a high radiation loses you more points.
Your survivors in the airlock will help you seal the door and prevent radiation from entering the shelter.
Each survivor in the airlock prevents 1 point. However, they will never decrease the radiation level, only reduce the gains to 0. If your radiation marker is at the top of the track, each further point of radiation you take causes you to lose a survivor.
There are only a few ways to reduce your radiation in the game, so you'll want to manage this closely. For example, populating rooms with a special ability for reducing radiation.
In the next step, players will be able to spend supplies to recruit new survivors to their shelters.
For each supply you spend, you may recruit a survivor. However, they may only be placed in the airlock, so if the airlock fills up, you may not recruit any more.
Remember that the supplies you can spend for this are only the water, meat, and canned goods. In the next step, players may spend materials collected to pay for rooms to be built.
Each room has a built side and an unbuilt side. On the unbuilt side, you'll see a 3 with a gear icon. This represents the material cost to build it.
Each room will cost 3 materials. Materials are only wood, metal, or microchips. You may spend any 3 of your choice in any combination to flip a room to its built side.
Once built, you may immediately populate it with survivors from your airlock. A room's special ability won't be active until it is fully populated. Every available survivor space shown must be occupied. Should you ever lose a survivor from a full room, you immediately lose the room's benefit or ability. Likewise, as soon as a survivor is added to a room to completely fill it, it immediately becomes available for use. Some of the room abilities apply to the main game board and some to managing your shelter. You may build as many rooms as you wish, so long as you can pay for their build cost. Also during this step, you may move survivors from your airlock to any built room and activate any room's ability in any order. Always follow the rules of the room. For questions or more details about a specific room, check the appendix in the rulebook. Each room is listed there. Each room in the shelter may only be used once per day.
Once a survivor is placed in a room, it may never move. The only exception is when you're forced to lose a survivor as a penalty. Basically, only survivors in the airlock can be moved. Each player starts with a broken equipment tile. Anytime new equipment is gained, it is always broken.
All broken equipment is kept to the left of your shelter. During this step, you may pay materials to fix your broken equipment. Each equipment tile's repair cost is shown on it in the top right corner. You can repair as much equipment as you can afford. When repaired, move it to the right side of your shelter board. Each working piece of equipment you have can be used once per turn. To show it's been used, rotate it to its side. At the end of the game, players will earn 1 point for each repaired equipment they have.
Each equipment tile also has an equipment symbol on its right or left side. If you're able to match up 2 tiles to create a complete icon, you'll gain an extra survival point for each one you create. No player can have more than 1 of the same piece of equipment, whether broken or repaired.
The equipment tiles will enhance your actions. They are either related to a main board location or a specific action you can take. Full descriptions of each equipment is found in the rulebook's appendix. The last step in the night phase is called shelter upkeep. The perishable supplies in your shelter don't last in the post-apocalyptic world. Any meat tokens you still have will spoil. Discard all your meat tokens. Discard all but 2 of your collected water. The canned goods are non-perishable, so you can keep all of these. Finally, you may rotate your used equipment back to their original positions to show their ability can be used again. Once everyone is finished, the night phase is over. You should proceed to the dawn phase of the next day. However, if it's the end of the 6th day, the convoy has arrived and the game is over. Survival points will be tallied and the winner will be determined. I've already talked about a hero's movement to locations, which includes how to apply pressure to active heroes already standing there. Once you've resolved applying pressure, your hero may do the actions of the location he's at. A hero has as many action points as he has strength. These points can be spent as the player chooses on any of the available actions at the location. Since you have 4 meeples and they may never occupy the same location, you'll be visiting 4 different locations each day. Most of the locations let you gain a certain resource. Some equipment you've repaired can give you extra resources. If you see a plus sign before the resource, you may gain that much extra resources when collecting it. The extra resources to take must actually be available. You can never take more from a location than it has resources on it. At the military base, you can collect munitions and reduce your radiation.
You may scavenge 1 munitions token for every 1 action point spent on it.
You may never take more munitions than are available on the board. Never take from the general supply. Munitions can be used to defend from intimidation as well as hunting wild game. While here, you also have the option to spend an action point to flip over the anti-radiation algae. Doing this lets you immediately reduce your radiation by 1 level on your shelter board. Unfortunately, there is only 1 dose available each day. Once a player has taken this action, no one else may gain it until the next day. The forest, mine, and fairgrounds locations all operate the same way and have the same actions available. The difference is the resource collected. These all provide one of the 3 materials: scavenge for wood in the forest, metal from the mine, and microchips from the fairgrounds. For each action point spent, collect 1 from the available resources. You may never take more than what's been placed in the location during dawn. Take the resources to your shelter, placing it in the appropriate warehouse space. These 3 locations also have hunting actions available. Look at the topmost wild game tile in the stack attached to the location. The red number in the center is the endurance value of the game. You must spend 1 or more of your action points to defeat it. You may use your munitions tokens to supplement the extra points needed to kill it. At least 1 action point from your hero must be allocated to the hunt though. You can't defeat wild game with only munitions.
By meeting the endurance value with action points and munitions, you may claim the tile and gain meat. You're not allowed to spend more munitions than the endurance of the game being hunted.
There are 5 types of wild game, distinguished by their fur and endurance level.
So all level 5s have this fur, and all level 3s have this fur, for example. The first time you take a wild game tile of a certain type, you gain meat equal to the first number in the paw. The second time you gain one of these, you'll earn the second number. So by hunting the same game type, you become more efficient at killing it and earn more meat each time. You can keep these tiles near your shelter to know what you've killed so far. There's not really a specific place for them to go. Only 1 wild game tile can be earned per player turn.
The next wild game tile on the stack will be available to hunt by the next player to come here. Also, the wild game tiles are never replenished. Once a location runs out, the animals are gone for good there. The cargo ship location is found at the bottom of the game board. It is full of canned goods and survivors ready to be recruited to your tribe.
The first player to go here in a day will take the first player token.
That player will be the next first player starting in the night phase of the current round. If no one goes to the cargo ship, the first player token remains with the player who has it. The cargo ship is unique since there is a limit to the number of heroes who can go there. The spots on the left show a strength value. A hero may only occupy the matching strength space for its strength. So a level 4 hero must go on the 4 spot.
If occupied by an active hero, that hero may not go to the cargo ship. You should ignore idle heroes. After placing your hero, look at the values to the right in that row. Collect the shown number of canned goods from the supply and place them in the supply depot of your shelter.
Then take the survivor token there. This survivor can be placed in your airlock or directly in one of your built rooms. Gaining a survivor at the cargo ship is the exception to survivors going to the airlock first. The one gained here is allowed to go to a room immediately. This is a nice benefit as it may end up giving you a fully populated room during the day phase, letting you use its benefit. The Strength 6 spot is only accessible to a player who has the grappling hook equipment. When going to the dam location, players may gather water. However, the water is polluted, so you'll need to activate the filtration system. That system is behind an electronically locked door.
In order to reach it, you must spend a microchip. After paying a microchip, you may take a water token for every action point spent. The water should be placed in your shelter in the supply depot.
You can never gain water that isn't at the location, so if it's empty, no one can gain water here for the rest of the day. Note that you may apply pressure to weaker heroes when arriving here like normal, without needing to pay a microchip. If you don't have a microchip to gather water, or choose not to spend it, you may not gather water this turn. There are 2 cities on the main board that heroes can explore, Blackwood and Silent Peak. Both cities work the same way. The equipment tiles placed to the side of the game board near the city in question can be salvaged by heroes for 1 action point each. Take the equipment tile of your choice from the ones there and put it to the left of your shelter board, indicating it's broken. The available equipment tiles are not automatically replenished. That only happens during dawn. In addition to being able to salvage equipment, heroes may spend action points to draw search tiles. For each action point spent, you may draw a search tile off the top of the stack in the city. You may do the search 1 tile at a time, looking at what you gain, before deciding to spend another action point to draw another. For whatever tile you draw, gain whatever is shown. The search tile is then discarded to the side of the game board.
It will get reshuffled again during dawn and may or may not be seen in the next day.
Both cities have the same distribution of search tiles. There are 2 munitions tiles and 2 empty cupboards. The rest each have only 1. There's a search tile for each type of resource, except meat. There's also a tile that lets you reduce your radiation by 1 level. You can't go below the bottom spot of the track, so if there, nothing happens. When drawing the search tiles, make sure to draw them face up so everyone can see. This should let players have a better idea of what could still be in the search stack. After the shelter upkeep phase of the 6th day, the end of the game is triggered. The days are kept track of by the event cards on the convoy board. You'll know it's the 6th day when the last event card has been flipped over, so proceed to counting all your survival points. First, gain points for each event card you've overcome. Look in the corner for the point values. Now you should get points for the number of built rooms in your shelter that are fully populated. The airlock doesn't count. The more rooms that qualify, the more points you'll earn. There's a chart in the rulebook. For example, having 5 rooms built and fully occupied gives you 7 points, while having 7 gains you 17 points. Count how many survivors you still have in your shelter, in any room or airlock. Gain 1 point for each. Now count how many repaired pieces of equipment you have. Each one gives you a point. Then look for matching pairs that complete equipment symbols. Each complete symbol gives a point. Next, take a look at your radioactivity track. Wherever your marker is, gain or lose that many points. Whichever player has the most survival points will be the winner. Their tribe alone has won the right to join Convoy and enjoy the wonders and safety of their subaquatic colonies.
In cases of a tie, whoever has the most supply tokens wins. If still tied, whoever has the most remaining resources, meaning materials and munitions, will be the winner. The other tribes must remain in their radioactive shelters, just trying to survive.
Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Check the video description for links to Cloud Puncher Games for board game shelving and Mr. Meeple t-shirts for cool board gaming shirts. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. Originally founded by the Gamecasters podcast, the network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and much more. Click the link in the video's description or head over to the Gateway Network's Instagram to find great new content. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.